Hi, everyone. So as Richard said, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about gratitude, which is something that is quite personal to me in my life, and also I've done a little bit of research on it. I think it's quite an important topic. I try to practice it in my life, and I'd like to hope that some of you might practice after today, but I can't force you to do anything, so we'll see. So it's always weird to start a presentation with thank you. But I'd say it's probably one of the most commonly used words we use in any language. You know, we say thank you all the time. It's probably one of the first words that you learn. You probably don't remember learning it, but we use it. Some people use it up to 25 times a day. You say thank you, someone holds a door for you, you say thank you, they give you something, you say thank you. But I want you to consider the last time that you said thank you and actually had some meaning behind it. You know, a lot of us say thank you because our parents told us that when someone gives you something, you have to say thank you. And we just use it in passing all the time. But the difference between saying thank you and being grateful is that when you are displaying gratitude, it's more of a conscious awareness of appreciation. And we very rarely sit down and reflect and think about things we're actually grateful for, because you rush through life so quickly. We've all got somewhere to be, someone to see, something to do. We very rarely take time to actually think about the things that we have in our lives instead of the things we need or the things that we want, because you always want something. We never think about what we already have. So we just use this word thank you in passing. So there's two different ways that people tend to practice gratitude. The first way will be that sometimes people write gratitude lists. So in the morning or in the evening, people might write 3 to 5 things that they feel grateful for. So, for example, all of you woke up this morning and you had another 24 hours to do whatever you want to do in your day. Well, maybe not. Some of you had to go to school, right? But generally, you had the opportunity to be the best version of yourself today, another opportunity. But I don't imagine any of us went to bed last night and thought, I might not wake up in the morning. And that sounds really morbid. I don't mean for it to be. But we don't realise how grateful we are to wake up in the morning and go and do whatever we want to do. So I don't want it to sound like social comparison, because there's a whole bunch of young people in here who use social comparison far too much. It's not about saying, I woke up this morning and I'm able to do what I can do because someone else couldn't. Yeah, so when I was little, I hated eating dinner. I'm a pudding person. I hate eating dinner. And my mum would always say, you should be grateful that you've got food because there's people in the world who don't. There's always going to be someone who's better off than us and worse off than us. So I hate to think of gratitude like that. I should have thought of it as, I'm grateful to have food on my plate because my parents worked very hard in order to put that food there. So I don't want to consider it to be that social comparison. The second way that some people like to practice gratitude is by doing what typically called a gratitude visit, where you think of someone who you think has made a significant impact in your life or done something good for you in your life. You write them a letter, you go and see them, and you read that letter out loud to them. So I started practicing gratitude quite a long time ago. When my mum died, I was quite young, and I didn't feel like I had the opportunity to actually tell her how much I value her and how much I appreciate her. So she was really sick, and she did everything every single day to ensure that I lived my best life, or I had opportunity to do that. So every year, I sit down and reflect, and I will write a letter of gratitude to someone who I feel has had a significant impact in my life, not necessarily done something big for me, but someone who I think has done something positive in my life for me. And I'm not as brave as a traditional sense. I don't go and read that letter to them. I normally hand deliver it or I'll post it. The problem we have is that we always assume that people know how much they mean to us. And we think, yeah, my parents know that I love them, I care about them. But we very rarely tell them. We tell them because on Mother's Day, we're meant to do that. On Father's Day, we do the same. On birthdays, the same sort of thing. We very rarely do that just because we can. And I think of it a bit like, it's like buying someone a present, wrapping it up, and never giving that present, and assuming they know that you've got them a present and what's inside of it. So myself and Dr. Ross Wadey, we did some research with injured athletes to see if we could use these gratitude letters to try and enhance how people feel in terms of maybe these relationships that they have. And we got injured athletes who had returned back from sport. We got to write a letter to somebody who they felt had a significant impact in helping them recover from their injury. And we got them to actually write it and go and read this letter out loud to these people. Now, there's a number of positive outcomes that came from doing those letters, but I'm only going to focus on 2, which are the ones that came out from the research, but also ones personal to my life. So the first one is this reciprocal relationship that happens between the person who's written a letter and the person who receives a letter. And we actually found that there's strength in that relationship between those two people, because suddenly that person who receives a letter realises how much the other person values them in their life. And it helped them to enhance the relationship between the two. The second one is my favourite one, which is called Pay It Forwards. So Pay It Forwards wasn't established for gratitude and go and read this letter out loud to these people. Now, there's a number of positive outcomes that came from doing those letters, but I'm only going to focus on two, which are the ones that came out from the research, but also ones personal to my life. So the first one is this reciprocal relationship that happens between the person who's written a letter and the person who receives a letter. And we actually found that there's strength in that relationship between those two people, because suddenly that person who receives a letter realises how much the other person values them in their life. And it helped them to enhance the relationship between the two. The second one is my favourite one, which is called Pay It Forwards. So Pay It Forwards wasn't established for gratitude. What Pay It Forwards is for is, for example, like I would do two good things for two people. They would then go on and do two good things and two good things. We end up with a whole bunch of people doing really good things for other people. Funny enough, with the letter writing, we found that some people, when they received the letter, it raised their awareness of gratitude and how important it is to show your appreciation to people. They then went on to write a letter of gratitude to someone else or told them how I feel about it, which obviously is a very good thing. So I think this quote will probably sum up sort of the way that I think in terms of gratitude is that we rush through life all the time, and we've always got somewhere to be. We think of the destination. It's like we always think about the end results. Like for you guys, you want to get through school, you want to get your exams done, so you finish. You want to get through somewhere. You forget about the journey along the way and the goodness of people that you see along the way. Yeah, some people are in your lives for a season, some people for a lifetime. But I do believe that people come into your life for a reason, and there are so many good people around. And so many people that need to be valued, but appreciation is a beautiful thing, not only for the person who is demonstrating their level of appreciation, but also the person who's receiving it. So I guess for you guys, my take-home message would be that the next time that you feel appreciation for someone, it might feel a little bit embarrassing, but go and tell them, because not only will it make you feel better, it will actually probably make their day as well. Thanks.